Hello and welcome to Gadget Joe, and today we're feeling the power once again with another white component. In today's video we're taking a look at the Thermaltake Toughpower GF A3 Snow Edition, and today we have the 1050 watt variant. Now this is a PSU power supply that comes in multiple different sizes. They come in 650, 750, 850, 1050 which we have here, and a whopping 1200 watt variant. The one that we have here is the Snow Edition. Now a lot of people like the white components, me included. White is certainly a colour that is really sort of on trend right now. So I'm very happy to have the Snow Edition in my hands today so that we can take a look. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I don't have a power supply tester. So this is more an unboxing and overview of the power supply. So if you're looking for a more in-depth review in terms of the power draw, you're probably better off looking elsewhere. But for this video, we're going to take a look, get it all unboxed, and basically see exactly what you get in the box. And I'll go through a few of the key features as well. As far as the box itself, it is Thermaltake as usual. You have that nice black, simple boxing with plain font and images on the front, which pretty much just tells you exactly what you get. On the front of the box you get a few key features. You get the image of the power supply itself, and underneath that you get some of the key factors of this power supply, including the fact that it is indeed PCIe Gen 5 compatible. You do get a Gen 5 12 volt high power cable included, which in this model is rated up to 600 watts power delivery from a single cable. It is also Intel ATX Gen 3 compatible, so that you know it'll work straight out of the box with all the latest components on the market. It does also feature Thermaltake's smart fan technology, and what that means is that the fan will not power up under basic loads or idling until it is needed. So if you start to game or you're rendering and then you start to put more load onto your system, and then at that point the fan will kick in to keep the unit cool. On the back you get some more information, including some charts for the efficiency. It is an 80+ gold efficiency power supply with a 10-year warranty as well, so that you know that this is going to last, and if there's any problems all you need to do is contact Thermaltake and they'll sort you right out. You then get a short list of all the included cables. This is a fully modular unit, so that all these cables can simply plug into the power supply and you can pick and choose exactly which ones you need. It does also have some information on the output availability. It does deliver 1,050 watts at the 12 volt rail, so it's a very nice high power unit. Even at 3.3 volts and 5 volts you get 100 watts from this power supply. So let's get it open and see exactly what we get. When you first open it you get the usual gubbins, the warranty card, and obviously an instruction manual, which we don't really need. And then you get the power supply itself. Now the good thing about this is it is indeed a 1050, whatever you want to call it. It's a 1050 watt power supply. Now a 1050 watt power supply is generally quite a large power supply. That's a lot of power to come from a single unit. What's nice about this is that, as you can see in this nice convenient little fabric bag, it is tiny. It is a very compact little unit, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. It's not, I know it's a bit hard to call a power supply fantastic. It doesn't have all the fancy details like some screens that you see on some power supplies, but the fact that it's nice and compact and white is a big key point for someone like me when I'm building in a lot of white systems. Or you can obviously get it in black as well. It's not just in white, they do it in different colours. Obviously you've got the white one, which is classed as a snow range, and you also get the black one. As you can see from the design, it is, as I've mentioned, nice and compact. You've got lots of ventilation points all the way around, apart from the bottom obviously, which displays all your information that you need to see. This is also the same information that was on the box, so that you can really get an idea of what this power supply can do. On the rear of the power supply you get that smart fan switch. This you can turn it on or off. What that means is if you keep it on, it will then keep the fan turned off until it's needed. which is better for efficiency. You can obviously turn that off and it will just keep going as it is powered on at all times. Next you get the power switch, and then underneath this sticker here you get the port for the kettle lead. On the side you get a nice simple sticker arrangement that basically outlines what this power supply is. You've got the title and the branding on here, and also the fact that it is Intel ATX3 compliant. Again, it's the same on the other side. And then finally we get to the modular connectors. Now these are laid out nice and simple. In terms of connectors available, there are plenty available. Starting off from the top left, we get the CPU power connector, and there are 3 8-pin connectors on this. They also double as the 6x2 PCIe connectors. Next to that you have that 12-volt high power cable, that's a 16-pin pinout. You can use that 600-watt cable to power your latest graphics cards. Next to that you have 3 6-pin peripheral and SATA connectors. Underneath that you have 2 more additional or 6x2 PCIe connectors. Then you have the 24-pin ATX, and then finally you have another 6-pin peripheral and SATA connector. So there's plenty of connectivity straight out of the box. Now one key thing to note about this power supply is they do another model which is very similarly named. This is the Thermaltake Toughpower GF A3 Snow Edition, and they do also do a GF3 edition. Now the difference being is that in the GF3 model that has slightly higher quality components. Now you're not missing out on this because it does include some high quality components in this. You do have that 10-year warranty, and it is still 80 plus gold rated. Now this does use high quality Japanese capacitors that are rated at 105 degrees Celsius, so that it's going to have plenty of reliability out of a box. On the top of the power supply you have this ventilation, the same style all the way through the power supply. One thing to note is that this pattern here, this oblong pattern that's seen across the whole power supply, actually matches the same mesh grille patterns on a lot of the newer Thermaltake cases as well. So there's a bit of continuity there, something that I'm quite fond of seeing. At the top also, underneath that grille, is the 120mm 7-blade fluid dynamic bearing fan to keep everything cool. And that's pretty much it in terms of the actual supply itself. I'm going to move this to the side and we're going to take a look at what's left in the box. We next get a bag. Now this is, well, you all know what it is. It's a bag with all the cables inside. Right, now that I've taken everything out of the bag, as you can see, this is exactly what you get. Starting off, you get a bag including some zip ties for cable management, and obviously the power supply mounting screws for your case. It would be nice to see these in white, but unfortunately they are black. But again, you can get hold of some white ones, or you can simply use some silver ones for a little bit more continuity in terms of colour. You then get the kettle lead, which in this case is a 2-pin European adapter, but obviously being in the UK you will get a 3-pin adapter. Next you get a single floppy disk drive adapter, and then you get the 12-volt high power 600-watt 16-pin cable. Now this is a decent length so that you've got plenty of space and distance to work with the power supply, even if it's mounted at the top, to get it to your graphics card. We then have the 24-pin pinout. Now this does come in a 10 and 14-pin connector that connects to the power supply, and then a single 24-pin ATX connector to the motherboard. You then get the CPU connectors. You get 2 of these. Both of them have 8-pin connectors to the power supply and 2 4x4 connectors going to the CPU. And obviously you get 2 of these so that you can power even the most modern motherboards. Next you get PCIe cables. Now there are 3 of these available, each one containing an 8-pin block going to the power supply, and on the end you get 2 6x2 pin connectors. That gives a total of 6 PCIe connectors, meaning that even the most modern graphics cards that don't need that 12-volt high power connector can be run by this power supply. So that if you have a graphics card that uses maybe 3 8-pin connectors, you don't need to worry, you have everything you need here from that. Then you get the ones that I hate, I despise. I know it's a working connector, but Molex connectors. You do get 2 of these again, so that you can power any Molex adapters, fan hubs, fan controllers, anything like that through these as well. Then finally you get 2 sets of SATA connectors. Now this is a much preferred method of power delivery. Again, you can power hard drives or alternatively fan hubs and lighting, etc. from this. Both sets have 4 SATA connectors on each, and obviously, as I mentioned before, it's got 2 of these out of a box. They are white cables, they look fantastic, they are nice and stiff so that you can sort of flex them into the right position that you want, and they will pretty much stay how you put them. They are nice and flat as well, so that cable management will be super simple. One thing that I did originally have a bit of an issue with is the fact that they still use black connectors on a white power supply. Now that sort of was an issue because I thought, right, if you've got a white setup, you want a full white components and cabling. Now that's all well and good, but you'll often find that even on a lot of the whiter motherboards, they don't have connectors on the motherboard, so you don't have a 24-pin connector or a CPU connector that is white. So when you plug this in, it's going to fit right in with that connector. If you have a white connector on the cables and then a black one, that's going to look a bit out of place. So there has been a level of thought gone into this, but I think mostly it's down to cost. When it comes to getting white connectors, you do find that they generally command a slightly higher price point. So getting white plastic connectors across all, not just cables, but motherboards and stuff, will in turn increase the price. So overall, I'm super impressed with what you get. You get a nice selection of cables right out of the box. Considering this isn't the top model, this is the Toughpower GF A3. As I mentioned earlier, there is a slightly higher model. You don't really miss out on anything, so you probably won't necessarily need to go to that higher price point, and you would be just perfectly fine with this. It looks nice and it's really super compact. I really do like that fact, so that even in a smaller case it's going to fit in just nicely, or even in a larger case you have more space for cable management then. Obviously it is fully modular, so that there is plenty of options. You don't have to plug everything in, so you can have some space left, again eliminating the need for all this extra cables. The fact that you get everything included, including plenty of SATA power connectors, even those Molex connectors, and loads of PCIe connectors, so you've got plenty of options for powering almost any graphics card on the market. And of course you get that 12 volt high power 600 watt cable. Now being 600 watts means that it will pretty much be able to power any graphics card on the market, so even if you've got a 4090 in your system, this will more than easily handle that. You even get a little floppy disk drive connector as well. So yes, that's pretty much it. The review of the Thermaltake Toughpower GF A3 Snow Edition. A very nice colour, very nice setup, very well equipped. It would have been nice to see some white or silver screws included with the mounting for the power supply, but again, if that's pretty much one of my only concerns with the setup in general, I don't think they've done too badly at all. You can pick one of these up for around the 150, maybe £170 price mark, but again, companies like Scan sell these and they do have them at reduced rates quite often. And obviously, as I mentioned before, it is not just available in white. If you don't want a white setup and you want all of this, you can get it in black too. And that's pretty much it. I've been Gadget Joe. This has been the Thermaltake Toughpower GF A3 1050 watt Snow Edition. And until next time, goodbye.